Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 4 of What If Naruto was put through hell and adopted by the Raikage. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the episodes coming over Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes, you heard that correctly if you're new. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click those red subscribe button, links will be in the description, and join the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode, start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Naruto was going on his first D-rank mission, making his way towards the land of Wave. They were going to meet up with the Konoha Shinobi that is supposed to bring Tazuna here, as Yujito changed Naruto's entire appearance. They met up with the Konoha Shinobi as Naruto managed to stay calm, but the Konoha Shinobi was none other than Kushina herself. As she looked at the boy, she greeted all of them kindly, as she was gonna follow through with the transport of Tazuna. Seeing that they were attacked earlier, the group decided to still take the mission as they made their way. Small talks here and there, as Naruto was going by the name N. Yes, only N. As Kushina realized that the way they move and the way they walk, the boy was never beside her. So she tried to find out why this was going on. As the boy then spoke, the Raikage was his father. That was rather shocking to her, despite her keeping herself so calm at Konoha, as Minato was having a talk with Darui. As Raikage sent a letter to Minato, it was rather greatly disrespectful, but Minato replying in kindly. After all, the way to handle Raikage is by matching up to him. Minato knew that far too well. Darui also told him that the Raikage had his son on the mission, as Minato wanted to know who was in the line of fire passing through it. As he saw the scouts had told him, as he was quite shocked that A had a son he never knew after all. Well, Darui kept his calm, but inside of him he was boiling. The things that Naruto went through, and yet this man, this entire village seeming so calm, putting a child like that through hell. That was the main reason why he was sent there, as the Raikage wanted to be there for Chunin exams. With that, the group made their way as they were stopped by Zabuza. Zabuza said hell no, seeing Killer B and Yujito, and not to mention the group of ninjas around them, Konoha ninjas and the others, see. It wasn't worth the chance, as Zabuza knew that he would end up getting killed, and he was not gonna waste his life on something this naive. So with that, he just fled away. The group made their way towards the land of Wave, as Naruto told him that he could watch the border. He could watch over the bridge. After all, despite Zabuza, Naruto was a strong kid, and he could defeat any bandit that comes his way. Kushina snuck up on him as she spoke to him there. As he had dropped his kunai and she brought it back up with her chain. He asked if she could teach him that. She knew that he could not learn it because Uzumaki, but she decided to humor him. To her surprise though, the boy released a blue chain as he started to whip it around. As Yujito then called him, Kushina had to confirm as she said Naruto. As Naruto turned around to her calling his name, Kushina then started to attack to get Naruto away from them because Yujito started to went into the attack as well, as she would not let this woman take Naruto no matter what. As everything turned into a scruffle, Kushina used her chains, which were highly harmful against Bijus. They can subdue them and hold them down quite well. Even B was being blocked by a horde of chains. Kushina threw the kunai as Minato flashed in. She told him that boy over there is Naruto and he must grab him, as B ended up creating a Beichu bomb. Kushina had to resort to drastic measures as she used a chain to grab Naruto by piercing him a bit and pull him over as the boy fell unconscious as Minato flashed away with them. B released the bomb as it flew. It slammed right into Gato's shipping company. After all, he couldn't let it blow up on the entire bridge, seeing that they were already gone. So with that, the land of Wave was going to be safe. But Naruto was taken. Minato knew the whole ordeal. He came up with a plan that might help them. But this involved him not telling anyone that Naruto is his son. Credibility and his name would go down the toilet. But the family can know. And they will speak to the Raikage. They can have 5 years. Just like how the Raikage have 5 years with him. And they can treat him well and make him come back to Konoha. As they didn't want to start a war because so much death and chaos. And the two Jinchurikis were gonna mayhem in Konoha. As they were gonna get Naruto back. Especially Ujito. The Raikage was furious when he heard that Naruto was taken. As Jiraiya came there, the man nearly killed Jiraiya. But he calmed down after a while as Jiraiya told him that he was just a messenger. The man said that he didn't care about the Nine Tails, he just wanted Naruto back. As he told Jiraiya a story when Naruto was younger. And the way the kid acted and just reacted because of the life that he went through. The Raikage really accepted Naruto as his son. They can keep the damn Nine Tails if they want, he just wants Naruto back. At Konoha, Minato managed to convince the council. As Danzo was smirking his head. So, Monster is back, huh? He was gonna give him a proper welcome. So yeah guys, it was basically last we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So just let me get this new episode. As the council meeting had wrapped up to an end. Meanwhile, Naruto jumped up. As he looked around, as he wondered where the hell he was. He was in some sort of office. There was a massive window in front of him. As he looked through the window, as he stared out to the distance at the village that was surrounded by trees, it was familiar. It only took the glance towards the gate to see the Konoha symbol, and his mind started to flash. Escape. Need to escape. As he quickly dashed through the open window, as he ran down the roof before jumping on the other one. Suddenly he was grabbed as something grabbed his shoulder. He turned to look up as he saw he was grabbed by a masked Anvu. An Anvu wearing a dog mask. "You won't take me again," Naruto said to himself. The Anvu was shocked as Naruto grabbed his wrist. With incredible strength, Naruto threw him over his shoulder. As Naruto ran, the Anvu stood there completely amazed that a boy so small could throw him like that. He whistled as bird, monkey, and wolf appeared as he pointed at the boy. As Naruto wasn't going to get captured, he ran. He didn't want the 3 hours of sleep. He didn't want the broken bones. He didn't want the torture so he could be better on the field. He didn't want to be here. As Naruto leaped, but he was punched right in the stomach by the dog Anvu. As he was grabbed by the others and he was placed down on the ground. "Stop. In the name of the Hokage," the dog Anvu man said. Naruto did not speak, but he needed a way out. He desperately needed a way out. "You know, I could have helped you, but nah. So, I'll just watch you suffer. But next time when I offer you power, this will make you know not to call me a liar." The Kyuubi chuckled as Naruto tried to use his own strength, but the Anvus pinned him down. "Let me go," he shouted. "You're still awake? Thought I knocked you out," the dog Anvu said. "Anyway, what were you doing in the Hokage office?" Kumo lapdog. So, it was his office, Naruto thought to himself. "I don't know," Naruto yelled back. "Now let me go." I said, "Stay calm. We'll bring you back to the Hokage and—" "No!" said Naruto, as sparks electrocuted from Naruto's palms, forcing the Anvu to release him. Lightning release. Wind release. As Naruto released a special electric ear blast, the Anvus was blown away by the ear and the electricity numbing their body. "Come and be damned," the dog Anvu man said. He was able to replace himself quickly with a log. That was the only thing that saved him from being electrocuted like the others. As the boy dashed off once again, as he raised his mask, as he blurred out of sight and appeared in front of the boy. Running time is over. As a pair of eyes locked with Naruto's eyes. One of them was special because it was a Sharingan. As Naruto was caught under a genjutsu and fell. Dog was confused though. Those eyes, they weren't of a cold-blooded murderer or an Anvu from Kumo. They were just a scared kid. The eyes belonged to a scared kid who just wanted to leave. What the hell was going on? Dog said to himself. Time skip. Kakashi did what? Kushina yelled as Minato turned his head sideways in shame. And you obviously had to worsen it all. If I know that you would use Fuinjutsu to seal away his chakra, I wouldn't have taught you seals, she said. They were standing in only soundproof room of Namikaze compound, as Kushina had insisted to be there when they explained Naruto. The boy was knocked out by the simple genjutsu with his chakra now being sealed. He was unable to wake up until someone disrupted the chakra in his brain. Kushina, please, there was no choice. He knew how to do elemental jutsus, and he nearly outran the Onvus. Kakashi said that he would have been caught if he did not feel the change in the boy's nature, as he had to replace himself with a log. It was just because Kakashi had a lightning release, which is why he was able to react so quickly. He was able to take down those Onvus. I can't let him use chakra. He's not no mere genin. Kushina took a deep breath. So, what did the council decide on matter, she asked, as she sit down on the couch and curls his hair. They accept in him staying in the apartment nearby. And they approve of us taking back one of your relatives. In that way, I justify him being close to us. And it will provide a good reason why you snap in fury in Land of Waves. She glared at him with rage. I did not snap in fury. I took my son back, she said. And I'm already thinking I should just tell everyone and be done with it. Danzo, be damned. Kushina, we must still wait for Kumo's reply. You know, worse being worse, he might end up being used as a weapon and brainwashed by Danzo to use as a means to end a war. Minato had to duck as chains exploded from Kushina's back, ready to skewer him. Get out of here before I murder you, Minato. Danzo have to pass through me before he touch my son, and I will snap his neck. So go and play politics or be the Hokage, but leave. The chains behind her wave ominously. Minato did not want to be a porcupine, so he decided to leave. As when she was in this mood, it was hard to calm her down. But he stopped, as Katsumi was standing there. Dad? Where's Mom? I want to ask if she can braid my hair. As her hair was shoulder length, as she gave her father a smile. His face softened as he ruffled her hair. Katsumi-chan, your mom is busy right now. How about you and I go and get some ramen? Katsumi's eyes sparkled as she nodded, as the both of them went to get some ramen. As the both of them left, Kushina was there, trying to come up with the right words to say. Naruto, I'm your mother. I didn't know that you were alive until now. And once I found you, I couldn't just leave you with the Kumo ninjas. Your father's Hokage. And yeah, he did wound your big sister Yujito. But they were using you, you know? Yeah, they were trying to use you as a weapon. But I won't. Or neither will Minato. You will have a normal life. And if you want, I know you like ramen, so if you want, can even open a ramen stand. And there's Ichiraka ramen who's really good. And there's Ayam, who's a nice girl. And if the both of you end up, Kushina shook her head. Just when the hell did she end up on marriage agreements? As she was going to say that him and Ayam get married. She calmed herself, she was just so nervous. She didn't even know what to say. What was she thinking? She was red hot habanero. She's been on ton of S-rank missions. Yet she wasn't this nervous before. She got up and started to walk back in front, back in front, back in front, back in front. She took a deep breath. She released. Here we go. Release! As she breathed the genjutsu. For a moment, nothing happened. But Kushina saw the slight movement. As he tried to remain motionless. He was awake, but he didn't want to open his eyes. Naruto-kun, she said hesitantly. Naruto-kun, please, open your eyes. Naruto did not move, however. He wasn't stupid. The Onvus had taken him, but if they stood very still, perhaps they would lower their guards. The moment they lowered their guards, he ran. And not to mention this voice, it was from the woman that attacked him. The one that hit him with the chains. He didn't know how, but she knew his real name. And she wounded his big sister. His big sister was not able to defeat her, and right now he felt so weak. Really, really, really weak. He didn't know how he was so weak. Naruto-kun, please, open your eyes. As Naruto felt something placed on side of his head, something caressed his face as he felt something drop on him. Another one, and another one. He realized that she would not leave as he opened his eyes. She was crying while holding on to his face. She gasped when he opened his eyes. She then pulled him and started to hug him tight as she cried. This was wrong and it was confusing. He should be the one crying for coming back to this suffering. She had no reason to cry for bringing him back to this hellhole. But he did not feel angry. He did not feel much. He just felt cold and void. My Naruto. My boy, she said as she held him in a hug. She was trying to take him and use him as a weapon. No. He had to get out of here. But he felt so weak. I'm sure you have a lot of questions in your mind. So I'll do my best to answer them. Believe it, she said. As she released the hug. Naruto did not have many questions. He was in Konoha. The place that made him cry at night. The place that made his soul scream out for freedom. And he knew that he was kidnapped, probably because his father, the Raikage. But he would die. Then make his father be forced into something. He couldn't escape. As probably the uncles are still there watching him. He would just have to wait and hope his forehead protector was. He slowly touched his forehead, realizing his Kumo headband was gone. Now he actually had a question. Where, he said as he pointed towards his forehead. His first birthday gift was in there, the chakra. Metal pocket knife, if they took it. No, the Kumo headband, she said. As Kushina tensed, she thought about how Kumo had tried to kidnap her once. And later on, they kidnapped her son. It has been trashed, Naruto, she said. His eyes bulged, but he said nothing. She saw the look on his face. The pocket knife inside the headband, it's fine, she said. I'll hold on to it until you're old enough to use it, she said. Those damn Kumo idiots handing her child a knife. They had probably trained him in it. After all, they wanted a perfect weapon. Naruto's eyes started to get watery. How could she took that from him? That was his gift, it did not belong to her. As she tried to look away from those eyes. Fine. If you promise to be good, I'll give it back to you tonight, she said. He nodded. You don't have any other question to ask me? He shook his head no. He knew that they wanted him as a pawn, so that they could use Kumo and his father, and he'd rather die, so he had nothing to ask her. He tried to send chakra to his fingers, but nothing was happening. It was like when he was in Snow Country. He glanced over his body, he did not see any mechanical device on him. This was strange but expected. They wouldn't want a weapon to run around freely. They needed something to lock him down. My name is Kushina Uzumaki. As she fidgeted with her fingers. As Naruto looked at her confused, why was she presenting herself once more? And you're Naruto Uzumaki, my son. As Naruto stared at her for a moment, did his father had a bee and a flower with her? At least that is what Killer Bee told him about the talk, bee and the flower. But he never saw her on his father's desk before, a picture of her. She could be lying. No, she was lying. That was it. This bitch was going down. If only he could get his life back, he would tear her throat right open. For disrespecting his father like that and lie about it, no one offended the Raikage. I know you might be angry, said Kushina, but just listen to me, okay? He nodded as he looked around trying to find a window, but he did not see any. But there was a light coming from the ceiling though. I'm your mother. I gave birth to you on the 10th of October when the Kyuubi attacked Konoha. Your father. That damn bastard, she whispered. Minato Namikaze. As Naruto looked at her strangely. His father was not this Minato Namikaze. That name sounds familiar though. Where he heard it from? Oh yeah, he was the enemy of the Raikage. They only want to go toe-to-toe with him in battle. He was also the 4th Hokage. He's still my husband, though. I'm planning on changing that eventually, said Kushina. He took you from the hospital when I was laying unconscious and brought you to the front line. He wanted to use you as a container for the Kyuubi, but instead the 3rd Hokage barged in. He knocked him out cold, and he sacrificed his life to seal the beast inside of you. Her fists clenched, but instead of bringing you back to my arms, he decided it would be in the best interest of everyone to hide your birth and have you raised in an orphanage, and I was told that you died at childbirth. As Naruto looked at her, even if it wasn't a lie, what did it change? He belonged to Kumo. The Raikage would come back for him, right? Then I met you again, but fate that day, it was really unkind. Her face turned sadder as she cursed his right cheek. As he shivered a bit. I don't know if you remember, but I was the one that took you from under Ayam's bed, and I even gave you ramen, you know? As she chuckled a bit at the memory. I told you to meet me back there when you were finished talking to the Uchihas. But when I came back from my mission, I could not find you anywhere. I didn't even know your real name. But I did find your jumpsuit in the corner of the Uchiha compound alleyway. The Uchihas had been killed while I was on a mission, so I thought that you had died in the crossfire, she said, as she started to cry, as she hugged him once again. As Naruto stiffened, why was this woman so emotional? He wasn't her son, he was Raikage's son. And then I found out Danzo had taken you in. Naruto started to shake at that. No, not Danzo. No. Naruto, said Kushina, as she saw the look on her son's face. As she saw how 1 year of root training had did to her poor boy. As she hugged him once more, she caressed his ear. It was camouflaged to be black, but she could see at the base it was indeed blonde. It's all over. Trust me, it's all over. Danzo won't take you away from me ever again. No one will. Never. But Naruto didn't want to stay here. He didn't want to stay here. He wanted to be taken away by the Raikage. B, Darui, Karui, C, heck, even Yoko or Shoko. I want to go home, he whispered. Kushina looked at him as she realized she had rushed things. It would take time, of course. To him, she was just a shinobi from an enemy village who had kidnapped him. He wouldn't trust her so easily. Of course not. Naruto-kun, she said. You remember the chakra chain that you made? He shivered a bit as he remembered the one that hurt him. It's only something that Uzumaki can do, which is why you're clearly my son. And you can do it too. As Naruto realized it was his fault, if he wasn't able to construct the chakra chains, then this wouldn't have happened. He was sure right then that Yujito hated him, as did everyone else. His father was probably walking around, smashing decks saying that he was useful at right now. Because he failed. He let himself be known and he was captured. And they will try to use him. Probably lock him away, so they could get what they want from Kumo. And he was too weak to do anything about it. What happens to me now, he said. Well, I'm sure you're hungry, Naruto-kun. So how about we go and eat some ramen? It's my treat, and then I'll show you the apartment that Hokage had bought for you nearby. Trust me, if you ever need anything, you can just run over here. I'll always be here for you, she said. He looked directly into her eyes as he spoke. Uzumaki-san, can I have my... He was shut down by her stare. By tonight, she said, and only if you call me Kushina-san, got it? She knew that he couldn't start to call her mom right away. It was something she wanted, but it had to go step by step. I understand, Kushina-san, he said, as Kushina brought him onto his feet as she held onto his right hand, as they made their way out. Oh, Naruto-kun, when you're outside, you must tell no one who your parents are, okay? It would be bad if you did, she said. Naruto nodded. This was Konoha. If they knew that he was Raikage's son, it would turn out bad. As Naruto looked where the bins were, but he did not see them. He needed to find the garbage dump and find his headband. As Naruto was watched with different feeling as they made their way, people stopped by and called her Kushina-sama, and they were actually smiling at him as well. Probably because of the hair color. Maybe he should keep it that way. He stopped when Kushina stopped as well. She then entered the ramen stand, as sitting on two seats was Katsumi and Minato, as Naruto sat down quietly next to Kushina. Oh, Kushina-chan, said Ayam, as both Minato and Katsumi turned their head. Mom, said Katsumi as she went over. She blinked. Who is he? Kushina-han, said Minato, but she did not even look his way. This is Naruto Uzumaki, Katsumi. He's a distant relative of mine, from Uzo, the village of whirlpools that was destroyed years ago, she said. He's just arrived in the village. I want you to be friends with him at the academy, okay? Kushina felt pain in her heart lying to her daughter like that, but she'll understand later on. Katsumi nodded as she smiled at Naruto. Nice to meet you, Naruto-kun, she said. Will you be at the academy starting tomorrow? Minato turned his head as he realized the boy was staring directly at him, as he was not answering Katsumi. No, but he will be attending starting day after tomorrow, Katsumi-chan, said Minato. Minato tried to smile at the boy, but all he got back was an indifferent look. The boy seemed really angry. As he looked at him, he knew the boy didn't like him at all. Kushina-chan, the usual salt ramen. And what about you, young one, said Ayam as she looked at the boy. As Naruto looked towards Katsumi, before looking down towards the menu, he didn't even know why he should be polite to his kidnappers, as he ordered the least expensive ramen on the menu. He was just a good boy. But Ninja Some Kumo did not cry. He would not cry. First off, act like a good boy, then get the knife back. Secondly, try to get the headband back as well, then die like a Kumo ninja and bring down as many Konoha ninjas as possible. He ate in silence as Katsumi kept on asking him questions after questions, but it was either Kushina or Minato that answered her. As Naruto ate slowly, he couldn't eat fast. The ramen here tastes pretty nice, as he couldn't eat it off quickly because he would ask if you want another one. But Katsumi and Kushina was already on their fifth bowl. Minato finished as he paid. He then waited for Naruto to come with him, as Kushina glared at him with a dead glare. I'm just bringing him to see the house. I'm the one with the keys after all. As Kushina looked towards Naruto, who simply got up. As he started to walk, as Minato walked beside the boy, he turned and looked back at the woman. She wouldn't give him back his knife. He just turned and kept on walking. As they made their way, as they arrived and went about apartment complex towards a green door, Minato opened the door to reveal a nice 3-room apartment. The first one was into the direct general room. There was a bedroom, there was a kitchen, and there was also a bathroom with a shower bath. The trip had been in silence, as Naruto did not answer a single question of Minato's. He just kept on staring at him. Well, do you like it? Asked Minato, trying to break the ice. My headband, said Naruto. It was thrown away. You will have another one in a year, if you pass the Leaf Academy with the Konoha symbol on it. I was surprised that they let you pass a year younger than expected. As it turns out, 1 year en route was like the entire academy year in Kumo, but he still wanted to go. He didn't want to get special treatment. He wanted to learn everything about Kumo. I belong to Kumo, said Naruto. I will only have a Kumo headband on my forehead. That's only because they brainwash you. Tomorrow afternoon you will speak to two friends of mine who will remove any brainwashing attempt on you. Am I free to leave the village? Said Naruto. No. You will be guarded 24 hours a day by envoys to make sure you're kept safe. Spied upon is the best thing. Naruto thought to himself. The fridge and the kitchen is stocked. And after tomorrow, you will start be given your monthly allowance, which is enough to make you survive month from month. If you do pass the academy, you will be kept under surveillance even while you do your team assignments. If you try to fail the academy, know that you will never leave the village, and you will enter the envoy program. Minato did not like menacing the boy, but he wanted to get the thought of running away out of his head. But he saw the boy shiver at the word envoys though. Is there anything you want to ask? Asked Minato. Can I write to? No, said Minato. Anything else? Why did you do this to me? As he looked towards Minato, the man looked at him for a few seconds before speaking. I had to make a choice, either you or your sister. Since at childbirth, you know the bees and the flowers, right? Well, since at childbirth the seal weakened, you were the safest option. That is not what Naruto wanted to ask. Why did you kidnap me? He said. I did not kidnap you. I took you. Minato had to block the fist that came towards his face. The boy had jumped up, but the fist was rather weak, given the fact that Naruto felt exhausted, but he still tried. As he landed back on his feet. This will never be my home, he yelled. You will change your mind eventually, Naruto-kun. Till then, have a nice night of rest. Tomorrow afternoon I will come personally to pick you up, to bring you to meet my friends. Minato left the keys on the couch and closed the door behind him, as Naruto dropped to the ground. As he started to cry, before he slapped himself across the face, as he shook his head. Despite that, the small jump that he made him feel so more exhausted, as he wondered what did they do to him, as he closed every curtain and window. As he moved to the bathroom, he took off his clothes. Not even a razor in there. He could have died quickly, but he wanted to prove the Hokage wrong. Thoughts of how he would mercilessly crush the man, how he will destroy him, how he will feast upon his blood. It ran through Naruto's mind. He then noticed a strange tattoo on his arm, before he turned on the water as he filled the tub, before pushing his head inside. As he sensed something, he pulled his head out of the water as he saw the dog mask on Vu. I would advise against forcing us to break in a room, Naruto-kun, or to attempt suicide. I don't care, said Naruto. I just want to know something before you bastards kept acting like the Hokage damn lapdogs. I know what I am, and I know that you know. The civilians know that as well, obviously. So if they attack me, would you break the mob? We have orders to guard you from lethal injuries. We take shift. Some of us might break the mob sooner, some of us maybe not. The dog mask envoy was slightly pissed. This was anything but Sensei's son. Maybe you should place him under again Jutsu to make him behave. And I guess I have to man up and take the blows, like a goody two-shoes, right? I don't know who you are, but know this. I'm a ninja of Kumo. I don't know what the hell you're doing to me to prevent me from using my chakra. But even without it, I'll find a way. So, you better share the news. Anyone comes after me, I'll kill them, said Naruto. Kakashi would have chuckled at the threat, but he saw the eyes. This morning they looked soft and scared, but now they look like a lethal murderer. And one final thing, don't call me Naruto. I am monster, he said. Time skip. The next day, as Naruto woke up, as he heard someone humming in the kitchen, and he heard things moving. So it wasn't a nightmare. He was still in this hellish hole in Konoha. As he slowly slipped out of the bed, as he looked towards his clothing that stood in tatters on the couch, he had tried after the talk with the masked envoy to find out where the garbage area was, but he had discovered by the cleaning guys that he was out of the city and he couldn't go outside. His clothes on the other hand had already gone past cleaning time. It was the same clothes that he was wearing when he was on the bridge, and given the fact that they had a hole through the stomach area, it was better not to use them, so he was without clothes. As he would probably have to wait till the damn Hokage knocked at his door, he would just insult him some more. Still, the voice that he heard in the kitchen was not the fourth Hokage, unless the Hokage was a female. As he picked up his trousers, at least they were wearable, as he placed them on. He slowly made his way towards the kitchen as he saw the woman, Kushina, who said that she was his mother. Naruto-kun, sorry I barged in, she said, but I thought you would like to have breakfast, cook, in your first morning back in Konoha. He narrowed his eyes slightly. Was she taking him for a spoiled brat? He could cook just fine. Yujito could only make ramen. Otherwise, she always burned everything. And Darue just refused to cook. Killer Bee never, ever was allowed to the kitchen or the utensils. And C was a good cook, but he really did so. So he had to learn. Still, he had to act like a good boy. That was the deal to get his knife back. Thank you, he said. Oh, you don't have any other clothing, she said. She cursed in her mind as she felt like she wanted to hit herself with a hot, scorching pan. Of course he did not. They basically kidnapped him back. No, he said. Would you like it if we went to buy some clothes for you in the afternoon? Believe it, she said. Can I get my pocket knife back if I do so, said Naruto. Your pocket knife? Oh, I forgot it at home, she said. Oh, Kami, I'm sorry, she said. I'll get it for you this afternoon. Just be good all morning, okay? Oh, Kami, she says, you look at your watch. I'm gonna be late. Okay, Naruto-kun. I'll see you this afternoon, okay? As she smiled, before she waved goodbye, and then she left. Both the Hokage and his wife wanted in the afternoon, but he wouldn't say anything. He would let them sort that out. As he followed his nose, he made his way towards the kitchen, as there was an extravagant breakfast there, along with a note, perhaps if he had woken up late. Naruto, I prepared breakfast for you. Didn't know what you liked, so just write it down with a pen. Well, that explained a large amount of food. Well, he had no trouble eating it. He grabbed the pen. If only he could use chakra, he could try. Killer Bee trick with the lightning and the pen. As he eat. After he was finished, he write down his reply. I enjoy anything that can send me back to Kumo faster. Then just to prove a point, he stabbed the pen on the note. As he turned to go towards the door, he had to put on the torn clothing. It was that he had right now. As he walked, people were walking, smiling and talking. As he was getting angry, at them acting so casually. Calm down, he said to himself. Just stay calm, the moment will come. As he strolled around until he found an empty training ground. As he looked around, there was no one using it. So he decided to start doing push-ups. Kakashi was wearing his dog mask, as he was currently watching Naruto do push-ups as he was in a tree. He sighed as he pulled out his Paradise Ichi series and started to read it. His sensei had to insist that he picked out a couple ninjas. Anvu, so watch a boy. But he didn't know what the waste of time was because the boy didn't want to be here, obviously, and nothing would change his mind, it seems. If this boy was placed in a team, it seemed like he was gonna outright kill them, or probably try to escape every chance he got. Sure, he was without chakra, but he had to do the school's exam. Let's Minato hope that the boy would love Konoha in a couple of days. He will have to do the ninja portion of the school lessons, and that is soon. But still, the boy had managed to bypass Andu's with lightning and wind chakra. Those two elements were natural enemies, yet he combined them. But then Kakashi heard something that snapped him from his thoughts. Yosh! Gai Sensei! Look at that youthful student! Kakashi blinked as he saw a mini offspring of Gai. As he was dressed the same way, looked the same way. Well, the bushy eyebrows. Lee-kun, you are right. The flames of youth burned brightly in this boy. The two got closer. So, youthful boy, what is your name? Said Gai. Gai already knew it because the Konoha Jonins were notified. But he was surprised to see that he was just a young kid. Yes, that was rather surprising. Monster, said Naruto. That is a nickname, but it's a coincidence because I am the grateful, beautiful, charismatic, green beast of Konoha, said Gai. As Naruto raised the eyebrow, the man was strange, but Naruto laughed. Are you laughing at Gai Sensei Flame of Youth? Asked Lee. You're nice, said Naruto. Kakashi was surprised. What did the boy mean by that? Gai laughed really loudly. Then the flame of youth must burn brightly within you as well. Yosh, Gai Sensei, let us celebrate by running around Konoha 20 times. Can I come too, Naruto asked. Sure, Lee, rejoice, because you have a new sparring partner. Yosh, Lee said, his eyes burning with flames. We will train until the sun sets. Until the moon shine brightly, said Gai. Yosh, Naruto shouted, as he mimicked their movements. Kakashi obviously did not bite. The smile was a fake one. But if Gai realized it or not, he'll keep an eye on the boy. Then let's get started. With that, Naruto got new clothes. They were green with orange leg warmers, but he got new clothes. He didn't last for much long, seeing that he had a seal on him. But still, he was able to keep up a long while. We will stop for today, Monster-kun. We will pick it back up tomorrow. Same place, same time. Rekindle your flame and youth with food and rest, said Gai. And with that, he dashed off, followed by Lee. As Naruto made his way back to the place that he was staying. As he arrived to see the door open, he expected to see Kushina there, but she was not. What he saw was pig blood, as it was written on the wall. Monster, go and die. Suffer. Demons, we do not need you. Bad words all over. The note and the pen was missing. As Naruto looked around the place, the toilet was clogged. He didn't want to be here either, yet they want him to stay here in this. As he looked around the place, he was not going to even do anything about it. He just went into the corner and sat down. As he did not move, he could have washed the floor. He could have cleaned up the mess. But why bother? He just waited. Surprisingly enough, the envoy came in. "Do you like ramen?" he asked. That was rather surprising. "Yes." "Would you like to get some?" "Father said I shouldn't speak with strangers that wear masks," said Naruto. "Envoy protocol said I shouldn't remove my mask or say my name to avoid recollection," said the dog envoy. "Then how are you gonna eat ramen in the mask?" "You actually got me. I wasn't planning on eating ramen with you." "Then I won't come. If you offer, you must partake. It's your money after all," said Naruto. "I'm pretty sure I can file this under envoy expense. Trust me on this, Monster Gun." "Who paid for the envoy expensive?" said Naruto. "The Hokage," said Kakashi. "Let us go then," said Naruto. "Is that the only clothing you have?" Kakashi asked. "As the green spandex, too much of Gai one day. It was too much, yes. The other is torn, tattered, and bloody. This is not," said Naruto. "Good enough." As the two moved towards Ichiraku Ramen, the remaining envoys sighed. They had a mess to clean before the Hokage came by. At the moment, Minato was reading a letter written by Jiraiya. "Minato, I am deeply ashamed of your actions as my student. While I can understand the reason of your heart, what was your damn brain thinking at that moment? The Raikage is furious. I'm in the same room with him. Land of Iron meeting at the 3, Wolf Mountain, 4 days from now. I'll reverse summon you, but be damn ready with your words, because the Raikage is pissed. A lot pissed." As Minato sighed, nothing was going his way today, it seems. Well, it hasn't been going his way for a long while. He flashed away from the office as he would ask Naruto if he wanted to go get some lunch with him to try and mend some things, to at least try. As he arrived, he saw the apartment doors open. As he stepped inside, he looked around. The envoys dropped on their knees as they were just cleaning the place. "Hokage-sama, what the hell happened here?" But it was not Minato that spoke. It was the person behind him. It was Kushina. She had groceries. Seems like she wanted to do the same thing. Invite Naruto for lunch. "Kushina, I was just about to ask." As Minato turned towards Anvu. "Yes, Hokage-sama. We kept a close eye on Naruto Uzumaki movements through the day, as you requested. After the meeting with the Jonin Sensei, my guy, and one of his Genin students, they started to train. The Jonin Sensei going as far as handing over training weights, equipments, and clothing to the boy. And by the time we got back here, the mess you see happened. Dog Mass is providing distraction with lunch, so we can clean up the mess. See to it that the apartment is clean," said Minato, as he turned and left with Kushina in tow. Kushina grabbed Minato's hand so he wouldn't flash away. "Why did you do this? Envoy guards?" "You said the envoy patrols would be enough," she said. "Kushina, you have to understand. It was for his own good. Danzo, he might still have some strings, and if you kidnap him again, it won't be good for anyone. Have you spoken to Jiraiya about Naruto? It would be safe with him in Konoha, a legendary son as a bodyguard. Concerning Jiraiya Sensei, in 4 days I'll be leaving to the Land of Iron to speak with the Raikage. Turns out Jiraiya was there in the office as well with the Raikage. Listen, I'm sure everything will turn out fine, and a war would be avoided. But if that isn't the case, then I'll have to do what is best for the village. You understand," he said, "and I will do what is best for my son, even if it means betraying the village," he said. His eyes widened, but he said nothing. Before he just nodded, understood. As they reached towards the ramen stand, they saw Kakashi. As he was reading his book, he was wearing his mask. Sitting there was Naruto as well, with his 17 bowl of ramen. Kakashi didn't really care. It was going on the envoy expense after all. Naruto-kun, as Kushina was surprised at the quantity of ramen that the boy could eat. As he stopped and turned around, raising an eyebrow. "Afraid I was going to run away from this prison, Hokage-sama," he said. "No, I was expecting you to come to see me, for the state that your apartment is in," said Minato. "Naruto-kun, if you want, you can sleep at the Namikaze mansion tonight," said Kushina. "Thanks, but I'd rather keep staying in the monster den that this prison offers me. So, Hokage-sama, where are your 2 friends that want to brainwash me?" He jumped off the seat looking at Minato, as Kushina's face had gone sorrow at Naruto's words. "They're not going to brainwash you, but they will certainly get you back into your right state of mind." As Minato turned, as Naruto followed, as Kushina was on the verge of tears. "Thanks for the meal, Dog Mass-san," said Naruto, as he turned the corner. Time skip. 4 days later, at Kumo. "Big sister Yujito, I'm home," as Naruto jumped right into her arms, as she hugged him tightly, tears in her eyes, until she heard the rattling of chains. She then looked at Naruto in her arms towards all bloody. "I trusted you," as he was pulled away from her, and he was getting tortured, burned, maimed. as she watches he exhale his last breath. Yujito jumped up. As she looked around, she was shaking violently in her room. As she looked towards the clock, 3 in the morning, as she rushed towards Naruto's room, but it was empty. Naruto wasn't there. It wasn't a nightmare, he was taken, and she was too weak to do anything about it. They had taken him in such a gruesome way, and now he was probably being tortured, brainwashed, or maybe he was being turned into a weapon, or maybe even killed for someone else to take the Kyuubi, his body buried in an unmarked grave. She shook her head, trying to keep the tears from falling down her cheeks until she heard the door behind her open slowly. Hey there. Bit late at night. Went for some milk, cat, said Killer Bee. As the man wasn't rhyming. Since Naruto has been taken, something was just off about it. Why can't we go and save him, Bee, she said. As her eyes were red. Bros, got it tougher. He can't wage war for the kid. Because he wasn't actually villageless when we found him. They used him as an anger reliever and forced him to such points where he called himself monsters at Dojutsu. But he was of Konoha. We took him in for pity, but he grew on us, and we grew on him. I'm sure that he will choose us in 5 years, trust me. But why did Raikage accept that, she said. She had asked his questions a lot before, and she got the same answer, but she just still had to ask again. You know him. He wouldn't be happy to know that a war has been waged in his name, for us to get hurt especially. And Konoha, they would have probably killed him off the bat, to take the Kyuubi just as a message and give it to someone else. They came to a deal. Naruto is a political hostage until he becomes an adult. Then he get to choose. In 2 years, there's going to be a Chunin exams. And we're going to be there as the guards of the Raikage. And we'll have our teams participate. So we check on him while we're there. We can even write to him so everything will be fine. We should trust him. He will make the right choice. That doesn't mean anything, she said. What if they control him? What if they do something bad to him? Torture or... He's a ninja from Kumo, Yujito-chan. He can defend himself. Got it? And the Land of Iron said that they send a specialist to make sure he is in control when he's going to make his choice. It is still 2 years before we ever see him again, B-sensei. What if he come to hate us? Hate me for not saving him from them. He raised his hand towards her. Fist bump promise. If he hates us when he sees us again, I'll burn all my rhyme books. As she knew how precious those were to be. As she smiled, she raised her fist and bumped his fist, sealing the deal. Time skip. At Konoha, Naruto had not been brainwashed. They also searched his mind to find out if he had been brainwashed by Kumo, which he was not. But he still had to wait 4 days until the chakra seal was removed. Once it was, he had to smile, keep promising that he would not run away and that he would actually go to school. Because while the seal was on, he did not went to school. It was a package deal, either the seal was off or no school for him. But since he passed the Kumo Academy, he would probably have no trouble with the Konoha one. The Hokage was in a hurry on the 4th day, and he made Naruto a promise. If he was good, he'd remove the seal once he returned. Till then, he trained with Gai Sensei and his student Lee. The two were strange, but good strange because they weren't having an ulterior motive. As he got taijutsu lessons for free, that was the only thing he could do with the seal on. He had refused any contact except for Kushina, who was able to get into his apartment every single morning, and she still hadn't given him his knife back yet, claiming that she couldn't find it unless he visited her house. A thing that he would only do once he was dead. And his so-called sister, who had tried repeatedly to bother him to come to school, he always gave her the cold shoulder in reply. Finally though, the day was coming to a close. The Hokage would come back and remove the damn chakra seal. So right now he was waiting patiently in the office with Dog Max next to him, as he was still reading that book of his. Is it interesting at least? Naruto asked Anfu. It has its point, said Kakashi. The boy was actually starting to get liked by the Anfus. He was either direct or he was silent. Perfect Anfu material. You're nervous, said Naruto. How can you tell, said Kakashi. He would have thought that Anfu training to cover one emotion would be more than efficient. It's been 2 hours and you're still on the same page. Kakashi chuckled at that as he turned the page. You got me. Well, seems the Hokage just got back. Just then the door opened as Minato came in. As he closed it and activated the privacy seals. You, said Minato as he pointed at Naruto. I, said Naruto. Why didn't you tell me about Danzo action and training on you? Some stuff wasn't on the scrolls that he gave me. We could have more than enough proof to claim cruelty. Minato could have had the man on a silver platter already with his training regime, but Naruto never told him anything. You did not ask, and I am not your friend, said Naruto. Naruto-kun, he's a Hokage. You should show him some respect, said Kakashi. As Kakashi was granted permission to use the boy's name, which he started to use. What? Said Naruto, is true. Does he really expect a kidnapped boy to respect him? Anyway, said Minato, you could be a witness in nailing the nail right into Danzo's coffin. When I called the council and no, said Naruto. What do you mean no? I'm ordering you to. Minato words died in his mouth as Naruto stared back at him harshly. Until the seal come off, I ain't bargaining with you. Fine, right now. It's not like you have a place to return to, said Minato. As he moved closer to Naruto. What do you mean, said Naruto. Well, as it turns out, not even your father wished to start a war for you. So he decided to let you stay in Konoha as a hostage in exchange for the alliance between Konoha and Kumo. If you leave Konoha before the 5-year time is up, you will be hunted by both Kumo and Konoha and brought to justice. Seems like your father was only using you. The moment the seal was released, Naruto launched himself at the Hokage as Minato had to duck under a chakra in Han's fists. Not so fast, he says. He raised a single hand sign, and Naruto felt all the chakra disperse on his body as he collapsed to the floor, as he rolled on the ground, gasping in pain. I removed the chakra blocking seal, but I swapped it for a chakra controlling one. You can use chakra, but like the cage bird seal of the Hyuga, it takes just a single hand sign, one that Kakashi-san here has seen and will be able to copy to suppress it all. And I heard it's quite painful. Kakashi looked towards Minato. Sensei, you told him my name. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. You're to train the boy privately when the school is over and make sure that he actually attends school. Kakashi gulped at that he was handing over a boy that he is pissed at Konoha to him. That wasn't a deal we had, said Naruto. You said that you would be good. You just tried to attack me, said Minato. But that was afterwards, said Naruto. And I never said I wouldn't try and kill you while I'm going to school. And I never said that I wouldn't swap one chakra control seal for another. Kakashi-san, you can remove your mask. You will need to be alert on Naruto even when he's at school. If he tries anything funny, use the seal. With that, Minato moved towards his desk. You're both dismissed. As Naruto left the room in complete rage, with Kakashi behind him. As Naruto had to keep himself calm, the Hokage could be lying for all he knew. He had to keep himself calm as he walked until he found himself at the training ground. Naruto. He paused, he turned to look towards Kakashi without his mask. In 2 years, there is going to be the Chunin exam for Konoha. If Kumo and Konoha are allied, then Kumo will send his ninjas to Konoha. And when that happens, Naruto finished his statement, the Raikage will also be present. And I'll be able to ask Dad what happened. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at Kakashi, why was this man trying to help him? He wondered. Kakashi-sensei, he said. Could you teach me, please, he asked. On 2 conditions only. You will not seek vengeance with Konoha, Naruto-kun. I know you're angry. I know fate has been unkind to you. And I know that you would like to snap the Hokage's neck. But you should not hate Konoha. Only those that harm you should get your wrath, not the innocents. Fine. And what's the second one, said Naruto. Suppose Kakashi was right. Because Ayam and Toki, those people were kind to him. Danzo, though, he deserved to die. And the other villagers that picked on him and hurt him, they deserved to die as well. The news about him had spread, and the hair paint had vanished. And he even went to Ichiraku Ramen stand once again. And they recalled the first time they met him, and they were nice to him. That old man and his daughter. That was surprising. So perhaps not everyone deserved to die. Well, especially not them. The second thing is, you're not allowed to run away while on a mission. Doing so would endanger your teammates in your training period. Naruto raised an eyebrow at that. So I can try and run if it doesn't endanger the team. You can, but you heard the Hokage words. Just try and avoid endangering your teammates in your hate, okay? Naruto nodded, fine. His teammates will probably be just kids who want to play ninja. If I find out that you've broken this promise, Naruto, I will have to seek you out and kill you, said Kakashi. Naruto simply nodded. In his mind he was thinking he would just have to make a list of culprits and get them later on. But guys, to be in this episode right here, if you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.